Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Kristen, and if you're new here, this is a corner of the internet where I come at you every other week or so and share what I've been making. I do a lot of knitting, I do a lot of crochet, I do a lot of quilting. If that is your thing, if you are multi-craftual, if you enjoy diving down all the crafty rabbit holes, you're in a good place. I've got a lot to share with you. I've got quite a few finished objects. I've got some quilting. I've got a near FO to share with you. Anyway, it's a grab bag of sorts. Grab a tasty beverage, a crafting project of choice, and let's get into things. But first, just a little housekeeping notes. Thank you so much to everybody who gave me feedback about my new YouTube setup. The feedback has been amazing. A lot of people seem to love it, which makes me happy. If you're happy, I'm happy. Can't always make everybody happy. I have no idea where I'm going with that, but you get the idea. There were a few people who said that they preferred the last setup better, and this new setup was a little bit too distracting. There's too much going on in the background. But you know what? We're gonna give it a try. We're gonna see how it goes, and you know, we can, if it doesn't work out, we can always switch it back. You know, that's the beauty. That's the beauty of YouTube. And you know, just a little side note, I'm thinking out loud. In the future, I might get another light just to pop in that corner over there, because it is looking a little dark and gloomy and haunted in that corner over there. So I might do a little something to brighten things up. I'm sure right now I look like a floating head because I'm wearing all black, and it is pretty dark and gloomy out. We are working with the worst case scenario, but thankfully I have this overhead light and we're just gonna go with it. So, okay, let's get into what you're all here for: the crafting, the making, the creativity. I'm in a rare form today, guys, and my throat's feeling a little groggy. I woke up at 6 o'clock today, guys. It was just one of those things where I'm up and I'm like, there's no way I'm going back to sleep, because if I fall back asleep, I'm just gonna stay asleep until 9 o'clock, and I didn't want to do that. So, you know, I got the caffeine going a little early this morning, so huzzah. Okay, let's start off with the almost finished finished object, and that is Helen Stewart's Curious Handmade's 24 Birds Mystery Knit Along. And I will pop a timestamp here in the down bar in case you are still working on this project and you don't want to see any spoilers. But if you're still here and you don't care, I'm just going to show you where I am with this project. So, ta-da! It is a glorious blob. Helen actually published the final clue last Thursday, and my goal was to have this project finished, done, blocked to show you on this episode, but it wasn't in the cards, guys. It didn't happen. While it can be fun to keep up with a mystery knit along, for some it can be a little overwhelming, and at the end of the day, the point is to just enjoy the ride, to enjoy the process, enjoy the journey, if you will. And that's exactly what I'm doing with this project. I mean, would it have been great to have this done to show you on this episode, because I have a bunch of other FOs to share with you? Yes, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen. So here's where I am, and I'm still plugging away at the sixth clue. So close, guys. I think I have maybe about three more rounds to go before I get to start the border and bind off. And I'm not gonna lie, this last clue is quite a slog. Again, enjoyed every stitch of this pattern, but we are well over 500 stitches. I think we're close to 600, and at this point my eye is wandering. I've got a wandering eye, and I'm looking at all the new and shiny projects that I'm thinking about casting on, but at the same time I'm persevering. I'm just knitting through, and yeah, this last clue is so simple. It's so again, easy to memorize, meditative. It's just the same thing over and over again. Every round is like Groundhog Day, and I'm ready. I'm so ready to be done, guys. Let's talk about the yarn, in case you're just tuning in. Hello, I am Kristen, the hand dyer behind Voolenvine Yarns, and Helen Stewart reached out to me to ask if I would be interested in dyeing the yarn for this mystery knit along. Of course I said yes, and these are the colorways that I created for the mystery knit along. And I actually created two different colorway palettes. So this is one of them, and the one that I used is the Quill colorway palette, and that includes sage. We have gilded lily, this beige gold color over here. Then we have pimpernel, which is kind of like a very light sage with golden flecks, and then marigold, which is this glorious marigold caramel colorway here. And the only difference between this colorway palette and the second colorway palette is that instead of marigold, we had the willow colorway, which was a much darker shade of sage. So, you know, a very dark, semi-solid teal with very subtle speckles in there. And guys, let me tell you, I have been dyeing kits for this mystery knit along for 6 weeks straight. And I actually decided to take a break. The demand was so strong that, you know, I just kept going with it. You know, so long as people wanted it, I would keep dyeing it. But then, you know, towards the end, it started to peter off, and I wasn't sure. You know, I sent out a survey to my customers, and I asked, you know, do you still want me to keep dyeing kits or bring back my regular colorways? Because 6 weeks of dyeing this kit, I felt like I was leaving my other customers in the dark. So I sent out a survey, and while there was still a bit of a demand, there was an overwhelming number of customers who wanted me to bring back my regular colorways. So I just took that as a sign to take a break from dyeing the kits and go back to dyeing my regular colorways. But, you know, if you are still waiting in the wings for one of these MKAL kits, fret not. These colorways are not going anywhere. I'm still going to be dyeing them, you know, intermixing them throughout my updates every week. And eventually I will re-dye the kits for those that would like to jump on it. But yeah, I thought I would just mention that here. So again, thank you so much to everybody who purchased a kit, who waited patiently for me to re-dye them. And if you're still waiting, again, you know, thank you so much. I feel you. I feel your frustration. But again, one person dyeing yarn. I'm doing the best that I can and have to make decisions. So yes, okay, guys. So yay, that is where I am with the Curious Handmade 24 Birds Mystery Knit Along. Almost done, so very close. I should also mention that if you like the look of that pattern, but the idea of casting on a whole 600 stitch pie shawl intimidates you, Helen also has a half pie version. So instead of a full circular shawl, you can just knit a crescent shaped shawl. You can just knit a crescent shaped shawl. And that one is called the 12 Birds Mystery Knit Along. It's also a mystery knit along. I think it's still underway, but again, I will leave a link to where you can find both patterns in the description box below, along with everything else that I mentioned in this episode. So all right, yeah, moving along, let's talk about a finished object. This is a project that I finished, I want to say a while ago, but I didn't get around to sharing it in the last episode. So we're going to do it today. And that is the Mathilde doily. Yeah, I've been doiling again, guys. This is a pattern called Mathilde by Grace Fearon, and Grace Fearon she is a crochet doily genius. I mean, all of her patterns, I mean, not gonna lie, they're not for the faint of heart. They are very advanced, very involved, and you know, if this is your first crochet rodeo, I would start with more easy doily patterns. I will leave some links to some really great beginner-friendly doily patterns down below. I've cast on a couple of her doily patterns in the past, but I've never ended up finishing them just because they are still technically green when it comes to crochet. I'm still, you know, I've been doing it for a while, but I still have a lot to learn. And when I read her pattern, sometimes I hit a wall and I get stuck, and sometimes when that happens, I throw the project in the corner and make it think about what it did. So that happened a lot with some of her patterns, but this pattern in particular, this one is a free pattern. You can download it for free. Again, links down below. If you are an adventurous beginner when it comes to crochet, this might be doable for you. This for me was, you know, it was very smooth sailing, very smooth sailing until I got to this part right here. This one was a little bit of a mind bender. The pattern doesn't have a chart, it's all written directions. So when I got to this round right here, I actually had to sit down and chart it out for myself just so I could visually wrap my brain around it and see where I had to, you know, make chains. And anyway, it was very helpful. I actually took a photo of it and posted it to my Ravelry project page. So if anybody else is working on this project and you need a little visual help, it's there. I will link to it. But so this was just a very nice, quick, fun. It was fun, believe it or not, with the exception of this round right here. But it was a very fun, quick instant gratification project. And I used Aunt Lydia's crochet thread, size 10, in the natural colorway, which is, pretty much the standard for doilies, Whenever you think of a doily, it's usually this color. And I forgot what crochet hook. I used. It was a very fine one. Again, I'll link to the project page so you can see for yourself. And then, yeah, once it was done, I soaked it, I blocked it, I pinned it all out using T-pins on a blocking mat, and here we are. I've actually, I don't know if you can see, I have like a little bulletin board up there, and I just pin it to the center, and it's just a really nice decoration. Again, this is the Mathilde doily pattern by Grace Fearon, and I think I feel ready. I feel ready to tackle one of her more advanced doily patterns. So, watch this space. I may cast one on soon. Yeah, so that is one FO. When it comes to works in progress, we all know Kristen has plenty of whips, plenty of UFOs waiting in the wings to be finished. But we're not going to talk about those today because I haven't worked on any of them. So in the meantime, let's move along to quilting because, my friends, I have another finished quilt. In the last episode, I had the quilt top done, and here we have the finished quilt. And I will stand back so you can see. So yeah, this is a quilt that was very much inspired by another YouTuber, Nora Ling. I talk about her a lot on this channel sometimes just because I really love her channel. I love her projects. I love her aesthetic. She is an awesome person, and when she showed off her version on her channel, I was just like, I have to copycat you. It is so stinking cute. In the last episode, I shared the finished quilt top, and I think like a day or two later I have this finished because it is a very small quilt. It is just, a baby picnic size, quilt. And to be honest, my cat is the recipient of this quilt. She just sits on it all day long. That's why that table back there looks so bare, because I literally just have it folded up and lying on there, and my cat just hangs out next to me on it. She loves it so much. So yeah, let me talk about the fabric. This is Tula pink fabric. It's in her Hissy Fit fabric line, which has this adorable, cute little snake. And it's just so pretty and happy. I love the colors happening in here. And the background fabric is obviously a grunge, like a moss, I want to say like a moss green grunge blender fabric that I picked up from my local fabric store. Again, a total dupe of Nora's version. And for the binding, I also used some Tula pink yardage that I had in my stash. And I'll talk about this in a second, but for the quilting, I did a simple meandering stitch. I literally quilted this within an hour. I kid you not. It was just so quick and easy. And the Wonky Star quilt, this pattern in particular, again, this is mostly a recipe by Kate of the Last Homely House. She did a whole tutorial on how to make this type of quilt. It's a great stash buster. It's very beginner friendly. I will link to the tutorial down below. This is the second Wonky Star quilt that I've made, and I talk about this pattern so much. I'm always linking to it. So yeah, that'll be down below as well. So yeah, let me talk about the binding because I actually didn't have enough of this fabric. I created the binding and then I realized I was maybe 10 inches short, and I only had like a very narrow strip left over that would be enough to give me the binding length that I needed. But again, that strip was just too narrow. So what I did was I made a coping strip. If you're new to quilting, there's some terminology when it comes to quilting that I've slowly but surely been picking up, and a coping fabric or a coping strip or a coping block is something that, comes in handy because, yeah, see, this is the narrow strip that I had. Typically, when you make binding for a quilt, you cut out 2.5-inch wide strips of fabric, and then you fold those over, and that's how you create your binding. So all I had left was a strip that was barely 1.5 inches wide. So what I did was I cut out a strip of green fabric, sewed it on, and cut that to 2.5 inches. And what I was able to do was hide. You cannot even see it because it's all tucked in on the wrong side. So here's my binding with the coping strip. It's folded in half like so. And when it came to attaching the binding to this quilt, I basically took the right side of the binding, the side that I wanted to face the world, and faced it down, you know, raw edges like this, so like so, stitched it down, and then flipped it over like so. Does that make any sense? I hope it does. But I mean, I was very impressed with myself that I thought of that, and it worked out. It worked out beautifully. There's no sign. You cannot see that I used a coping strip or coping fabric in this quilt. So, you know, just a little tip for you guys. So yeah, that is my Wonky Star snake quilt. So again, thank you so much, Nora, for the inspiration, and I love that we're quilt twins. And Bella loves it too. As for other quilting projects, I've already started a new quilt, and I'm not sure if I mentioned it on the last episode, guys. I can never remember what I talked about on the last episode. But anyway, if I already mentioned it, I'll mention it again. My nephew is making his bar mitzvah, and I thought, what a great opportunity to make a quilt for him. So anyway, we've decided on a concept. It's creme brulee themed because he's very much into baking. He loves making creme brulee. That is his forte. And you know, he's into the idea of having a creme brulee themed quilt. So that's what I did. After we settled on a concept, I hopped onto fatquartershop.com and found a fat quarter bundle of batik fabrics in colors that I thought, you know, really kind of emulated or mimicked the colors that you find in a creme brulee dessert. You know, lots of caramels, oranges, creams, dark browns. It basically screams creme brulee if you look at it. So, you know, I had the fat quarter bundle, and I finally settled on a pattern. And the pattern that I decided to make is the Same Sky quilt by Modernly Morgan. This is the second Modernly Morgan quilt that I've made so far, and guys, her quilt patterns are great. I highly recommend them. So far, I find them very beginner friendly. There's a lot of cutting involved. So I'm looking at my stack of cuts over there, and the stacks are high. I'll try and insert some video here, but I cut out all my fabric. It took me a couple of days to do, just because there's a lot of pieces. Got all my fabric cut out, and I got the party started. And here is where we are. And yeah, guys, this fabric, it's batik fabric, and this is you know, I'm fairly new to working with batik fabrics. I've made some batik projects in the past, but this is actually the first full-on quilt that I'm making with batik fabrics, and I have to say, it's different working with batik fabrics than it is working with 100% quilting cotton, like the quilting cotton that you're all used to working with. And that is because batik fabrics has a denser weave. I actually did a little research, guys, while I was working on this project. I was like, this isn't like working with regular quilting cotton, is it? Let's do a little research. Let's find out why. And yeah, because batik fabrics have a denser weave, it's not as forgiving. So, you know, like when if you have made a quilt in the past and your seams don't align perfectly, 100% quilting cotton, you can pull it and kind of fudge it in so, you know, those corners lock in together. With batik fabrics, you're a little hard pressed because, yeah, it is so dense and there's not much give to it. So, of course, like smack dab in the middle, I had to rip it out a couple times before I could get it like this, and this is the best that I could get it. So anyway, again, once this is all quilted, it's just, everything is just going to blend in, and you're not really going to be looking at those little corners. And that's the thing that I'm learning about quilting. I'm embracing the imperfections. I love a subtle imperfection in a quilt. It just adds character. And the other thing that I learned is needle size. So I don't know how well you can see here, but yeah, you can see I did a little surgery over there. It's a little unsightly, don't look too close, but you can see that there's some serious like perforations happening. So the needle size that I typically use to quilt, again, I don't have my needle sizes memorized. I just have like a whole pack of, yeah. So professional, Kristen, very professional. Anyway, the needle size that I have been using to quilt is a little too thick to sew batik fabrics together. So I think what I have to do is slim down my needle so it doesn't perforate it doesn't perforate like this. I don't know. It's like it's like I'm sewing with paper. That's what it feels like when I'm working with batik fabrics. Batik fabrics feel like paper. Granted, I have also heard that once you wash them, they do soften up. So it's not like you're covering yourself with paper once your quilt is all done. Anyway, I'm just rambling at this point, but here's where we are. And the method behind my madness is I'm starting kind of doing like a reverse creme brulee theme. So, when you look at a creme brulee dessert, it's usually dark in the middle because it's, the custard has been torched in the middle and it gets lighter on the outside. I'm doing the reverse of that. I'm actually starting out with the lights in the center and working my way out to the darks. And the reason why I did that is because I actually brought all the fabric into EQ8. If you're not familiar with EQ8, EQ8 is a quilting design computer program, and it allows you to design quilts, it allows you to design quilt blocks, it also allows you to use it as a design wall. So, you can import all your fabrics and then create your quilt and rearrange things. It's really brilliant. So that's what I did for this project. Took a little time, I'm not gonna lie. I definitely carved out some time in the afternoon and just played around in EQ8. It was a lot of fun. You get into the zone, believe me. So the way, I played around with different arrangements and everything, but this is the arrangement that I really liked. Like I started out with the dark in the center and worked my way out, but I feel like the lights just work better in the center. So anyway, it's going to be interesting to see how this turns out, but that is where I am with the quilt for my nephew. Again, if he doesn't like it, who knows? The kid is, I don't know, how old is my nephew? He's probably like, I think 12 at this point. Yeah, I think he must be 12 or 13 at this point, which is crazy sauce. So who knows? He may like it, he may not like it. If he doesn't like it, Aunt Kristen will keep it and we'll just make him another quilt. Any excuse to make a quilt, am I right? So yes. Okay, my friends, I am gonna wrap things up. One more thing before I let you guys go, I do wanna mention our make-along that we currently have underway, and that is the Epic MAL. So this is a year-long make-along that is running until January 1st, 2025. So you have about 6 more months. I cannot believe 6 more months until 2025. I can't believe it. Anyway, I digress. You have until January 1st, 2025 to hop in, join. And the whole idea behind the Epic Make-Along is to make something epic. There are no hard and fast rules. The only concept behind this Make-Along is to make something or work on something that you're going to come out the other end feeling accomplished. So it can be learning a new technique. It can be finishing a project, a huge project that you started years ago and it's just been sitting waiting to be finished. You can finish that. It can be, no matter how big or small, whatever your craft is, knitting, crochet, weaving, quilting, sewing, shoemaking, I don't know, whatever your craft is, you're welcome to join. And you can do that by hopping on Instagram and tagging your progress or your projects with hashtag Voolenvine Epic MAL. So I can see what you're making, other people can follow along and be inspired. If the more interactive way to participate is to join our Ravelry group. I reopened, again, it's been so long since I did anything with the Voolenvine Ravelry group, but it's reopened. I created a thread in there for you to chat, to ask questions, to share your projects, share links, do all the things related to this make along. So it is open now. You can hop in there and see what we're all making. And come the end of the make along, I will create a separate thread for finished objects and choose a random winner for a giveaway prize. So that's exciting. And the other way to participate, the more exclusive, if you will, way to participate is to become a member of this YouTube channel and join our private Facebook group. It's very intimate, it's very fun, and just a really, really fun way to connect with other members of this YouTube channel, like-minded people. And yeah, it's, again, I talk so highly about this Facebook group just because I love it so much. I love the people that are in there. I love, the community that's growing around it. You guys are amazing, which brings me to memberships. So, if you would like to become a member of this YouTube channel and support the work that I do here, help keep on the lights and such, you can do that by clicking the join button down below this video. or on the main page of this channel. And depending which tier you choose for the a cup of something and higher tier, you can gain access to my bonus vlogs, which are very, very casual vlogs that I publish throughout the week. Come hell or high water, I will publish some kind of video for you, just talking about, you know, behind the scenes stuff, what I'm getting up to life-wise, craft-wise, sharing projects that I don't always share on these videos. But no matter which tier you choose, you will always get an invite to our private Facebook group. So, you know, if you would like to hop in and, you know, participate that way in our make along, you can do that as well. And there will be a separate giveaway prize for members of this channel as well. But at the end of the day, this isn't about prizes. It's about the journey, my friends. Remember that. It's about the journey. It's about the fun. The giveaway prize is just a nice to have. So I just want to remind you guys of that. Anyway, so, okay, if you've made it this far, thank you so very much for hanging out with me, for tuning in. If you are new here, welcome. If you haven't already, feel free to like and subscribe down below. I'm putting out videos for your viewing pleasure every other week. And until the next video, have an amazing weekend, happy making, and I'll see you soon. Bye.